Did Ram just ruin the TRX?
This is something that a lot of you have been very concerned about because we know for a fact that Ram is changing a few things with the TRX.
Yes, and just recently you and I did a story that Ram V8 supercharged Hellcat Hemi is no more after this year. It's still true.
It is true.
But we didn't know what they're going to replace it with. And now we have video, sound of the new Ram TRX prototype in the wild. So should we play it right now?
Yeah, you guys need to listen to this, so be careful. Turn up your volume a little bit. We want you to hear what this thing does as it pulls away, and let us know what you think. Okay, so
Yeah, so obviously it's a prototype, right?
It is a prototype.
It's got some camouflage.
It does.
It's got those weird bumpers in the back that I think manufacturers use for outriggers.
Yeah.
At their proving grounds.
I'm pretty sure that that's not your stock bumper. You're not looking at something that's going to go into production.
No, and they're covering the face of this truck too, so they may have different headlamps, different grille designs, but the sound, dude, it sounds like a EcoBoost V6.
It sure does. So what does this mean? If indeed it is a V6, which we're pretty damn sure it is, not a V6, sorry, a six-cylinder, I should say.
Yes.
What is it?
And we think it's a straight six. In fact, nicknamed Hurricane. This engine is currently in a Grand Wagoneer, so they're large, full-size three-row SUVs.
Yeah, it's a 3-liter straight six.
Yes.
With but has two turbochargers.
Yes. And the power could be 510 horsepower, which is what the Grand Wagoneer output is. But why did I say did they ruin the TRX? Well, because it used to have a V8.
Yes.
That burly sound.
Yes.
We could play you a couple of accelerations right now. So the older V8 TRX versus the new prototype, so you can decide for yourself. But also horsepower.
Yes.
510 is not 702.
It's not even close.
Yes. So how about this? Should we play the old TRX versus new?
Yes. Okay, now I bet a lot of you are like, wait a minute, I read somewhere that there was also a possibility for hybrid. And yes, you're right. Not only that, but they even said that the Hurricane 6 can be and is being built so it can work with a hybrid system. And if that's the case, maybe we can get well over 500 horsepower.
Yeah, that would be, welcome, right, by all of us, all pickup truck enthusiasts. But we need to explore the sound a little bit further, right?
Yes.
Because one of the main complaints when the second generation Ford Raptor V6 came out, right? You guys yelled out, screamed out, and you said V6 sounds weird.
Yep.
It was to the point where Ford actually created a trombone loop in the exhaust system to make the V6 sound a little bit better.
Right. So the question is, are they correct? And then more importantly, what do you guys think? So what we're going to be doing is we're going to play a clip of a EcoBoost V6 in a Ford Raptor alongside a clip of this accelerating. So we want you to hear it. And do they sound the same? We want your opinion.
So currently the V6 high output Raptor has 450 horsepower.
Right.
So if this straight six, potentially, this is according to us, right?
Right.
If this straight six Ram TRX has 510 horsepower, they're already trouncing the V6 Raptor. But is it enough, right? That's the question that we're trying to answer. And the hybrid technology you mentioned could be the answer because Jeep has 4xe.
Yep.
This is their electrification strategy for hybrid systems where they sandwich an electric motor between the engine and the transmission. And also, maintain four-wheel drive, all-wheel drive capabilities.
Right.
But you could add at least 100 horsepower, maybe even more to the system.
So I bet you a lot of you are like, well, it still won't copy the exquisite sounds and the exquisite capability of the massive V8 that had a supercharger on it. And you might be right. However, there are a couple things to keep in mind. First of all, We believe that the straight six will be a lot lighter than, say, giant V8 that has a supercharger on it.
Yes.
Although, if it has a hybrid system,
It-
which means batteries and stuff, it might not be as light.
Right. But what if, just listen, this is my hypothesis. What if they will offer two TRXs? One potentially with this straight six, let's call it 510 horsepower, maybe a little bit more.
Okay.
And a hybrid version of that, let's say approaching 650 horsepower, maybe
or
even more.
maybe I bet you they'll try to match the horsepower output of the last.
And also huge torque. That's what electric motors are good at, right?
Yes.
Is huge torque.
That's a hell of an idea.
But if they do that, will they step on their Rebel potentially? Because the Ram also should have the Rebel 1500 truck.
So let's look at it this way. It's all about price. Am I correct?
Yes.
So let's say the Rebel peaks at, let's say, 60-ish.
Okay.
And then the base model. This is a theory, all theory.
Yes.
TRX with the straight six twin turbo without the hybrid starts a little bit above that because you're getting all the off-road gear.
And the suspension, of course.
Exactly. Then top dog, 100 grand or so for the TRX with the hybrid system, putting out maximum horsepower and torque. Now, this is all theories. We have nothing official, except we do have the sounds, and I think that we're onto something. At the very least, I'm pretty damn sure that that's a Hurricane that we just heard in this video clip. But how about we put everything together? I'm sure you guys are curious about what these engines sound like, side by side, right?
Including the V8 Raptor.
Yeah.
Because Raptor R is currently still there, and it will be there for 2024. We just went and saw the new update to the Raptor R. So Raptor R V8 is there. You could listen to that. You can also listen to the V6 Raptor, old TRX, and new prototype TRX.
All right. So what we want, once again, is your perspective. What do you think the sound sounds like? I'm on the side of it doesn't quite sound like an EcoBoost, but maybe some of you guys think it does.
Nice. The only other thing we can say is that apparently Ram has new tail lamps. The TRX prototype still is wearing Bilstein shocks, which is really good.
Tires look the same too.
The tires look the same. They're 35s, potentially Goodyear Wrangler territories that have been there before. So this is all we know so far. And Ram should unveil this truck officially, I'm guessing within the next month or two. It could be longer, but we should see it officially soon.
Here's the big question for me. Notice how the front end of the truck is camouflaged. Now, the only reason I think that they would do that is because they have slightly different inlets and whatnot for the turbocharger. But then that begs the question, why have that big scoop on the hood? Is that even necessary? That's a really good question. So these are many of many questions that we're going to be answering, hopefully in the very near future.
And also this fascia covering has a little opening in the bumper that could be a radar system or even LiDAR system for self-driving. So potentially this truck could be hands-free on the highway, but in theory.
In theory.
All right, that's about it. Oldtfl.com is where you can find everything automotive in one place from TFL.